All right, ladies and gentlemen, so this is going to be a in-depth review of my shelter system, part of my big 3 for the PCT southbound Thru-Hike that I did. We'll get to this guy in a little bit. Set that there. So this is the shell or the fast fly setup of my Big Agnes Copper Spur UL2. Basically what this is a quick way to get out of the rain. Excuse the noise, we're on a bit of a major thoroughfare. So this is a quick way to get out of the rain or get some shelter from the sun in the desert when you don't really have any great shade trees or anything like that. We also used it a couple times in more crowded national parks to kind of have some privacy when we were changing or getting ready to go swimming or something like that. So yeah, but as you can see, the ground cloth, the footprint of the tent has grommets down at the base of it, so the poles can still click in and provide the support and structure for the rainfly to kind of keep that shelter up. So this was really handy to just kind of give us some quick ease of use when we wanted to get out of the sun for a water break or lunch or something like that. Or in Washington, sometimes in the mornings we'd kind of hunker down and wait out some early rain that we knew would pass. There's Finn. Finn, shut up. Anyway, yeah, so just some other features while we're here. Obviously the footprint. A lot of people ask if they should get a footprint at REI where I work and stuff like that. And you can see, look at all this crap. This is all tree sap, all stains, all this gross junk that basically would be on the bottom of my tent had this not been here. So I definitely recommend footprints because A, you can do stuff like this. You'll increase the longevity of your tent itself. It's a lot easier to replace this than it is to replace the bottom of a tent. And you know, if you don't want to buy it, you can always make it out of Tyvek or some other light, sturdy material. This also gives us a chance to look at the vestibule area. So the tent, you know, sits onto the footprint and then comes up. So I would be sitting in it. We'll go into that in a little bit. But basically you can see how much vestibule area the Copper Spur gives, in addition to how much kind of room guying out the fly gives, so that rain runs off and pours out to right there instead of coming and puddling underneath your tent. It also has the ventilation here, which gives a nice cross breeze back through this way. So looking at this tent, you can see the big poles, small Y. What I really like, and most tent manufacturers are doing this, is these gray poles go into the gray strips down here, orange poles to the black strips. So you match color with color, silver with silver, and it works out pretty well if you're doing it in the dark or near dark or whatever. Anyway, so the poles are basically this little Y, long pole, big Y here. But you'll notice across the top, this is a separate pole. So I mentioned this in the blog, but if you're watching this, it's probably because you didn't want to read that whole thing. I ended up leaving that at one of the 0-day places we stayed at, which is a pain because, as you can see, it supports the entire inside of this guy. So that kind of sucked, but I was able to figure out a little makeshift fix with my backpacking trekking pole. Basically it threaded through and stuck into there, came out through here, and I just opened this up. So I don't want to really mess with the setup right now, but yeah, the little carbide tip here notched into that holder. This guy poked out through here, and I just kind of zipped up that and hoped not a lot of rain would come in through there. When we were using it in Southern California, we had some rain with that. So Biggest complaint, I guess, with this tent is the fact that this is a separate pole, because I'm an idiot and can lose it, but it turned out not to be as big of an issue when we did lose it. I'm sure you'd be able to find out some easy stuff too. The nice thing is if you're getting some light rain and you don't want your tent to get wet, which happened to us a couple times, you can set this up really quick, get inside, shelter from the wind and the rain and all that, and basically be covered in here, you know, with your pack or whatever. That was not supposed to be in there. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, so when you're inside here, it's pretty easy to just kind of grommet that under each of the poles. And get this going under here. So then what you can do, and it's all tight quarters, but I mean, you're in a backpacking situation, you're gonna get wet at some point, I'm sure. So if you open that up, now I'm basically in the tent without even having the tent up. So you can start clipping it all together. The biggest issue is gonna be these guys, because you're kind of losing a little bit of that stability, but it's not too bad. You're touching it, so you'll probably get some wetness on there. Just some moisture bleed through on the rainfly material, but again, not a huge deal. So notice I'm just literally sitting in the tent as it's going up, and whatever rain and foul weather has caused me to do this is hopefully still being taken care of by the rainfly. And I'm now inside my tent, ready. Oh yeah, this happened to us too. So I think it's a matter of dirty zippers and maybe too tight of tension, but kind of halfway through we had this zipper start to fail and kind of come out of track a little bit. I forgot about that until now, but it's something that we kind of played with to see if we could fix, but you know, it is what it is. I ended up just using this zipper all the way across because it still works fine. But yeah, so now you're inside. Your entire tent area and packing backpacks and all that good stuff are going to be nice and covered from the rain, and now you're ready to go to bed. You can see we have some zipper issues over here too. But yeah, while we're in here, nothing crazy. I mean, it's the inside of a tent. If you're watching this, I'm sure you've been in one before. We did have a couple little snags and tears in our mesh fabric, and that just comes from the fact that this is a lighter, thinner material. 2 rips I mentioned in my blog post right there with the gear tape. You can see we definitely still had some seep through on the tree sap. Pockets on the inside were real nice. I think the new one has 2 little pockets so you can kind of subdivide your gear a little better. Hooks up here. We had this little dude to hang our socks and stuff like that when it was drying out, but yeah, nothing crazy going on. Just a pretty sweet little tent, and yeah, I'll post links to the other big 3 detailed reviews in the description of this video, as well as a link to my blog post on the topic if you want to go check that out. But yeah, if you like what you're seeing, check it out. Feel free to drop me a comment what you think about the Copper Spur, if you've used it, what your preferred backpacking tents are, and look forward to talking to you on the next video.